Right. So for this morning's practice, we will start on the floor, coming to a space where you are sitting comfortably on the floor with the legs extended in front of you. So if you need a support of blocks or a bolster or a pillow, just go ahead and get that. And then once you are on the floor, bring your hands down beside you if you need to use them for support. You are even welcome if you have a wall next to you to bring your back against the wall so that you can allow yourself to be supported there without any kind of strain. And now just go ahead and slowly start to work with the breath. So as you inhale, point your toes. And as you exhale, flex. We'll go ahead and do that 2 more times. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Point and flex. And then allow the legs to soften. Just let them relax. Shake them out if you would like. Feeling that movement in your hip joint. And then we're going to go into a gentle rotation at the ankles. So when you inhale, let the knees be soft, toes press out and away from you, and then gently bring them in. And continue that movement. Nice, gentle rotation, working with the breath. And then change the direction of rotation, pointing away from you, and then back in. Good. One last time in this direction. And then again, relax the legs. This time, do bring your hands, if you don't have them beside you, to support your body. Press just slightly your palms into the floor to get a slightly longer length in your spine. And then as you inhale, flex your right foot. Lift the heel up off the floor as you press the back of the leg, the thighs and the calves into the floor, and then relax. We'll do that one more time. And go ahead and press the heel away from you and then relax. Good. If you have any kind of cramping, go ahead. If you have a blanket next to you, use a blanket. So what you would do is bring a roll of a blanket underneath your legs. And I'm going to use my blanket right here to show you how to go for that. So just roll the blanket like so and bring that blanket so that it is sitting with your to the back of your knee. So a little bit above the knee and a little bit below the knee. And then we'll work with that to press the knee back down into the floor. So inhale. Good. We'll go ahead and move to the other leg. So as you inhale, press the thigh if you have a blanket into the blanket. If not, the thigh and the shins, the calves down into the floor, and then lift the heel and then release. Good. And we'll do that 2 more times. Beautiful. We'll go back to the first side. And as you go ahead and press into that space, go ahead and keep the leg lifted up. So if you don't have a blanket, you're even welcome to bring a block. If you have a block, let's try and use the block. So bring the block again, the same place you would have the blanket. Just be careful because the blanket is a little bit more forgiving than a block. But press your thigh into the floor. You'll find that your heel is able to lift way far away. So now keep that extension in that leg. Keep the activation at the upper thigh. But keep the awareness in your breath. Keep navel hugging in close to your spine as you exhale. Full breath to the base of the lungs as you inhale. Good. One more breath for this lifted hold. Just the leg. Breath moves through. And then slowly on the exhale, soften. We'll change sides. Bring the block to the other side. Good. And we'll do the same move on this side here. As you inhale, press the thigh into the blanket or the block. Lift the heel as comfortably high up as it will go. And then we'll pause over here in the lift, but the focus stays on your breath. Navel hugging the spine as you exhale. Shoulders relax away from the ears. 2 more breaths. And then slowly, gently release the leg. Move the block out from underneath you. And then just go ahead and shake it out. Good. So I have wood on my floor in front of my mat. If you have carpet, that is fine as well. But go ahead and move to the front edge of your mat so that you can use the sliding of the legs without having the sticky mat bother us for this move. So as you come to the front edge of your mat, inhale right here. And then as you exhale and bring the navel to hug in and firm the lower abdominal muscles, bend the knee, heel comes in close toward your hip. Inhale and let it slide all the way, straightening the leg. Good, because the movement is going to come with the breath. Good, you're welcome if you'd like to bring your hands slightly back. I have no problem with you leaning slightly back into your arms if that is easier for that move, the knee bending in. Good, we'll do it one more time on this side. And then release. And we'll repeat that on the other side. Notice the difference on one side versus the other. We always have an easier side. So just enjoy if this is your smoother, easier side. But if it feels like this is your stiffer side, soften. A little bit more awareness into the groin, into the navel. One more time. Good, and then release the hands, shake them out. So any strain we created in the wrists is gone. Let the legs fall away, shake them as well. That's right. Shaking all the way as much as you need to is perfect. Good. And now we're going to go back to the mat to go to all fours. So coming to the middle of the mat, come to a position where you have shoulders on top of your wrists, knees underneath the hips. And start by allowing the body to feel the lift up off the floor. So spread wide all of the fingertips. And as you snuggle the tips of your fingers into the floor, start to also allow your toes and your ankle joints to fall toward the floor. Shins will also press toward the floor. If you have any kind of cramping, you're welcome to keep the toes curled under. Good, we're going to go ahead and as you inhale now, let the navel fall toward the floor, but your heart move forward. Maybe just lengthen a little bit as the shoulder blades come in toward the spine. And then as you start to exhale, round, chin comes to the collarbone, navel lifts up toward the ceiling. Shoulder blades separate. Good, and we'll repeat that process 2 more times. Inhale, create a little bit more length and opening, that feel in the front of the spine. And then as you exhale and round the back, navel firms the lower abdominal muscles. Shoulder blades separate, they're softening in the lower spine, in the middle spine. Move with your breath at your pace. Last move. And then if it feels good to pause at any of those spaces. Pause after an inhale, pause after an exhale. There is no hold. If you're pausing, you're just holding that space, letting the breath move in and out at its own pace. Good. And then as you come back to that neutral spine, we're going to start to get a little bit more movement in the hip joint. So inhale right here. And then as you start your exhale, allow the hips to move back toward the heels, only a quarter of the way though. So you feel just a little release and then come right back up to the center, shoulders on top of the wrist. And we'll flow with the breath for 2 more times. Again, Allow your exhale to lead the way in this release of the hips back toward your heels. So you're rocking slightly forward on the inhale and then releasing the hips back as your navel engages firmly the lower abdominal muscles. One more time, just flowing forward and then slowly back as you bring the navel to hug your spine. This next 3 times that we move through, next 3 breaths, allow the hips to move maybe 3/4 of the way back. So you have a little bit more length in the side body as you feel the hips moving back, and then come back up to rock forward, shoulders on top of the wrist. If you have any kind of knee issues bothering you, feel free to bring a blanket underneath your knee to protect your knee. If you find that your shoulders or your wrists are calling out, it's absolutely fine to pause. Pause by bringing your elbows down, turning the palms up to release the wrists, soften the shoulders. But if it feels good, continue to move a couple more times. Inhaling forward and exhaling 3/4 of the way back. Notice how much control you have as you allow the breath to guide this move, especially with that focus on the exhale with the firmness of the lower abdominal muscles. Good. And then as you come back with an inhale to rock forward, on the exhale, allow the hips to go as comfortably far back and down toward the heels as you can. You might find that your chest releases to your thighs first. You can even release the elbows down. The forehead can come toward the floor as you continue to let the hips release toward your heels. Good. Pause in this space for 1 breath. And we'll flow 2 more times, inhaling slowly but deliberately, moving the torso forward and up. And then as you exhale, round, chin to the collarbone, navel toward the spine, chest to the thighs, elbows to the floor. And then eventually allow the hips to release toward the heels. Pause for a breath. And then flow 1 more time. Move with your breath at your pace. Nice full breath on its way in and on its way out. This time, as you pause over here, allow the palms to turn up with the elbows coming down to the floor. You're even welcome, if you would like, to bring your hands down beside you. If you find that your forehead is not comfortable reaching down to the floor, you're welcome to bring a block underneath your forehead to rest upon it. Any height that feels right for you. And take 2 more full breaths here. When you finish those 2 breaths, bring the hands once again back into play, spreading the fingers wide, lifting the elbows, and coming up to all fours. We're going to go from here into a little more extension of the spine. So as you come into the space, go ahead and let the right leg extend back behind you. Shoulders are on top of your wrists, spreading fingers spread wide. Use your back leg. Again, you can have the toes curled if you have any kind of cramping. Otherwise, uncurl the toes and create a nice length in the spine. Full support of both arms, and for now, both legs. And then when you feel ready, allow the back legs to float up, a leg to float up off the floor. You can have the heel pointing out, or you can have the toes pointing out. The body still feels completely supported in both arms and on the shins that are on the floor. If it feels right for you to do so, go ahead and lift the opposite arm. Bring it straight out in front of you. Now the extension can be as much or as little as it feels right. So if you have to have a soft bend in the elbow, so be it. But if you feel that you want to reach fingertips and the toes in the exact opposite directions, go ahead and reach the hands. There's a nice engagement of the navel toward your spine. As you pause over here, the breath stays full. And then slowly release the hand and the leg. And then as you exhale, gently press chin toward the collarbone, navel to the spine, chest to the thighs, and come down to relax. Pausing here for one full breath. And we'll move to the other side. So reach the hands out, lifting the elbows. As you come up with an inhale, find the weight to be equal on both hands. And this time, bring the left foot back. As you press your toes into the floor, start to create that nice length, first and foremost in the leg, in the spine. When you feel that support of both legs and both arms and feel that length in your spine, go ahead as you inhale, lift that back leg up off the floor. You can press your heel out, or if you prefer, you can even press your toes out away from you. Continue to use the support of the shins and both arms. And if it feels right for you to do so, lift the opposite arm straight out in front of you. Again, as we did on the other side, you can have the front elbow slightly bent if you feel that it's creating strain in your shoulder or your neck. The way to gauge that is the fullness or the lack thereof of your breath. So even as you reach the fingers and the toes away from each other, make sure that you have the breath full. Good, and then next inhale. Bring the hands down, knees down. As you start your exhale, pressing back to child's posture, chin to the collarbone, chest to the thighs, forehead toward the floor. Once again, as we rest over here, you're welcome to bring the hands down beside you. You're even welcome if you'd like to use the block again. Bring the forehead upon the block and just relax in this space. Start to notice the sensations that you feel moving around in your body. Notice how your breath has changed. One more full breath here. Good, and then slowly go ahead, and if you were using the block, move the block aside. We're going to come back to all fours. Good, and this time we'll go into a modified version of a side plank. So as you come to all fours, start by extending the right leg all the way back behind you. Good, and then release that heel down to the floor. And we're going to now lift the right hand out and up off the floor. So as you do so, shift the weight over to that back leg. And then shift the weight over to that bent knee. Good. Lifting the hand out and up over. You're using that control of the breath as you hug your navel in toward your spine. Good. Falling off is absolutely allowed. Go ahead and slowly, as you exhale, come back, release the knee. Take a moment to pause over here. Good. And then we're going to go ahead and move to the other side. So doing the same thing, extend this time the left leg out back behind you. We'll lift the left arm. So the right arm is going to support the body. Make sure that the left heel comes down to the floor. The shin on the right is going to press into the floor as well. Good. And then slowly, when you're ready, come back down to all fours. Good. Creating that control, we're going to go ahead and move into it one more time. If you feel that your wrists can support the weight of your body, if you want to rest them, go ahead and bring the elbows down, turn the palms up, take a moment to pause here. But if it feels good to continue, then go ahead and move into it. Extending first the right leg out, back behind you, pressing the heel down to the floor, and then start to press the left palm and the left shin into the floor as you gently lift the right arm out and up. We'll flow a couple of times this time. So as you exhale, release the hand down toward the floor. As you inhale, start to lift the arm along with your gaze up toward the ceiling. And then slowly and gently bring the hand back down as you exhale. We'll do this one more time, but this time before we move the hand up, let's move the back leg a little bit further back over. So your right foot is going to go over to the left a little bit more. And then as you inhale and lift, notice how you're able to turn a little bit further, the heart up toward the ceiling, the hand further back toward the left. And then as you exhale, go ahead and let the arm and the leg both come back, knees together. As you start an exhale, navel hugs the spine, chest moves to the thighs, elbows come to the floor, palms turning up. And exhale all the way back and relax for 2, maybe 3 full breaths here. Good, that's beautiful. Take one more breath here. And then we're going to go ahead and inhale, come up again to all fours. And we'll repeat this process on the other side. Extend this time the left leg out. Press the left heel down to the floor. And we'll flow as you inhale. Lift the left arm out and up overhead toward the ceiling. As you exhale, slowly release that hand back down toward the floor. Inhale and going all the way up. Exhale, release the hand. This time we'll pause. So as you come up, go ahead and take a moment to pause over here. As you exhale, release the hand. Before we go for the next lift, move the left foot back over to the right a little further, and then see if as you move up again, if you can open your heart a little bit further up. Your gaze follows your thumb or just up to the ceiling. Good, and then when you feel ready, go ahead and exhale. Slowly, gently, bring the torso forward, bend the neck, bring the chest back to your thighs. Elbows to the floor, turning palms up. Hips settle toward the heels. And just relax in this space. Staying here with the focus and the awareness upon your breath. We'll pause for about 3 full breaths in this child's posture. Breath flows effortlessly. Good, and then next, inhale one more time. We will come up to all fours. This time we're gonna try and move into the down dog posture. So press your fingers down to the floor. Curl the toes under. It's our first down dog for the practice this morning. So lift the knees, and then as you exhale, press the chest back to your thighs, keeping that softness in the knees as you lift the tailbone as far up as you can toward the ceiling. The bend in the knees is going to take away from any kind of a deep stretch in the back of the legs, giving you the ability to bring a length in your spine. So as you snuggle the fingertips into the floor, allow the shoulders to soften. Release the shoulder blades up toward the ceiling. as the tailbone continues to lift up. One more breath. Then rock forward, shoulders on top of the wrist, knees underneath the hips, uncurl the top of the feet, and press back, chest to your thighs, back again to child's posture. So over here, we're going to introduce some chanting, especially on the exhale. So as you bring the awareness to your navel on the exhale, we will use sound to get a little bit deeper with the breath movement out. So we'll flow in and out of the down dog. Inhale first to the front into all fours. As you exhale, we're going to chant Namaha, three syllables. So I will chant the first time so you know how it sounds, and then you can continue at your pace on your own for the next 3 more moves. So as you inhale, curl the toes under. As you exhale, Namaha. Navel is hugging my spine. I'll pause just briefly at the end of the exhale. Inhale, come up to all fours. And we'll continue this move. It's your turn to chant at your pace, as loud or soft as it feels right without straining the breath. I won't chant so that you don't get confused with my sound. So I will do my chant soft. But I'd like you to try and do your chant with a little bit of a louder sound. And that's going to give you the ability to feel the air moving out through the nostrils. The sound is a good audible gauge of how good or efficient our breath is. One last move. And then as you come with the next inhale to all fours, when you uncurl the top of the feet, go ahead and come back to child's posture, releasing both hands down beside you. Relaxing once again, forehead if you would like, again on the block or all the way down, hands beside you. Good. Notice how your exhale has changed. Hopefully you have a little bit longer and a little more effortlessness in your breath as it moves out. Start to notice also as you inhale the slight, ever so slight lift of the sternum away from your thighs. But as you exhale, bringing the navel toward your spine, you might find you're able to release just a little bit lower the chest with each of for the next few exhales. Shoulders stay relaxed. Two more breaths. And the next inhale, go ahead and pull yourself forward to come to lay flat on your abdomen. Good. As you come to lie down, you have a choice. You can come onto your elbows and stay here if that feels better for your body. Otherwise, bring the elbows out, one palm on top of the other, and then rest your forehead upon it, or maybe possibly even one ear onto your palm. We're going to relax over here for the next 4 breaths. So if you have an ear turned, on the third inhale, turn the ear to the other side. Allow your legs to become soft. Toes can curl in, heels falling out, away from the midline. Notice your breath. Good. And then the next inhale, we will turn one ear down to the floor. We'll start with the right ear down to the floor. Bring the legs back in close toward each other. As you inhale, bend the right knee so the heel comes in close toward your hips, pressing the top of the hip point and the thighs into the floor. As you start your exhale, allow that leg to stretch all the way back to the starting posture. Beautiful. We'll go ahead and do that one more time. Same leg. Inhale, bend, heel toward your hip. Exhale, and slowly straighten that leg back to the floor. One last time. This time we'll pause as you bend the knee for just a simple one count, allowing the breath to still follow the movement down toward the base of your lungs. As you start your exhale, we'll do the same. Once the leg is all the way down and you feel like you're fully exhaled, see if you can allow that exhale to continue just a little bit. There is no effort here. And we'll repeat this movement on the other side. Inhale, bend the knee, exhale, and extend the legs. Go ahead, and if you haven't already done that, turn the other ear down to the floor. Moving in the heel toward the hip on the inhale, but pressing the hip point and the top of the thighs toward the floor. You'll find that as you inhale, you're pressing your abdomen into the floor as well. And then the third time you come into this space, we will pause. Pause just ever so slightly, allowing that air to continue to fall toward the base of the lungs. The abdomen will press a little further into the floor. And then as you exhale, navel will continue to hug your spine. And then once the foot is down, see if you can still continue to extend that breath a little bit more. Lovely. We're going to go ahead and turn the head once again so that the right ear is down to the floor. You're welcome if you would like to stay with the arm position the way it is. We're going into baby cobra. So if you would like to not create any strain in your shoulders, go ahead and press one palm on top of the other. Keep the right ear down to the floor. And as you inhale, press into the palms, straighten the elbows, and come lifting the torso up off the floor. Good. And then as you exhale, go ahead and bend the elbow. Come bringing the opposite ear down to the palms. We'll repeat that process. Inhale, press both palms into the floor, straighten the elbows and come up. And then exhale, bend the elbow, and then go ahead and turn the opposite ear down to the floor. Now you always have the option, if you prefer not to go that high up, to keep your hands down beside you. And then just turn slowly the head to the center. So it's not a very high lift. And then exhale and turn the other ear down to the floor. The legs are active. But if at any point you have any kind of complaint with your legs cramping, curl the toes under. One more time on each side. Inhale, turning the head to the center. Exhale, gently release. And to finish up, coming up one more time on this other side. And then exhale and release. Good. This time we'll move into crocodile. Bring the legs wider than the mat, letting that big toe and the inner heel settle to the floor. You can, if you would like, keep one ear to the palms or maybe even your forehead upon your palms. Just completely relax in this space. That's beautiful. We'll focus on the exhale over here. So as you allow the breath to move out, continue to let there be a soft engagement of your lower abdominal muscles. They continue to soften up toward the spine. full breath here. And then as you bring the next breath in, go ahead and turn the head to the center, walk your legs back in as well. Good. And then we're going to go ahead and move from here into the locust posture. We'll start with one hand palm in front of you. We'll start with the right hand in front, extended all the way up in front. Bring the left hand down beside you, or if you prefer to have that elbow bent, that is an option as well. We'll start with the right ear down to the floor. Legs are back in, close toward each other. As you inhale, you're going to turn the head to the center and lift the left leg opposite to the arm as you lift the right arm up off the floor. So the chest, the arm, and the leg are both lifted, or all three lifted. And then bring, once again, the ear down to the floor. And we'll repeat one more time, lifting the arm, the leg, and the chest up off the floor. Beautiful. One more time. Same arm, same leg. Inhale and lift. And release. Release both hands back down beside you. Take a moment to breathe fully. Good. And now we're going to go ahead and turn on the other side. So bring now the left hand straight out in front of you. We'll lift the right leg this time. So when you're ready. Now, if for whatever reason this move does not work for your body, you're welcome to work with only the leg lifting up. So when you are ready, inhale and lift only the left leg, the right leg straight out and back behind you. You do not have to lift the hand. But if you're going to use the arm and the leg, make sure that you do not lift one higher than the other. So it's just a slight lift. There is a full extension of the arm and the leg. Beautiful. And then slowly release. Good. Work with your breath at your pace. Go into that extension as much or as little as the body feels comfortable. One more move. And then slowly release. Release the hand, release the leg, bring the palms up and move into crocodile again. Makarasana, extending the legs out, away from the midline, allowing the forehead to gently settle down upon your palms. One more full breath here. Good, and then bring the legs back in, close toward each other. Bring the hands, sliding them down in line with your rib cage. And then when the legs and the arms are ready, inhale, press into the floor, lift up the torso, and press back to child's posture. Walk your hands close to the knees. Allow the elbows to settle and take a moment to pause over here. Maybe one full breath. Good, and then slowly and gently lifting up the torso, come to a comfortable seated posture. Good. If you need support underneath your hips, go ahead once again, use the blocks, keeping them side by side so that you can bring them underneath your hips, giving you just an ever so slight lift of the hips. And with that lift of the hips, you might find that you have the ability to keep a nice long spine. Good. And we'll start over here with a nice gentle twisting action. So first and foremost, relax your legs. And as you do so, we're going to bring your left leg out to the outside of the right hip. So we'll go into the half Lord of the Fish pose, Ardha Matsyendrasana. So the left knee will come to the midline and the heel will come to the outside of the leg, or the hip, I should say. Good. Bend the front leg, which is now the right leg. Bend it so that your heel comes wherever it feels right for you. It could come in front of your shins. It could come in line with your knee. Or if it feels comfortable enough for your body to bring that foot over, go ahead and bring the foot over to the outside of your thigh. You want to come in this space so that you're able to allow the big toe and the heel to fall toward the floor. And at the same time, to allow that right hip to settle toward the floor. Good. This is our first step. Bring both your hands, clasping the fingers to the front of your knee, and just allow the shoulders to fall away from the ears as you keep the length in the spine. We're going to use the chant over here again. We will still go ahead and use the Namaha. So when you're ready, inhale fully right here. And as you start your exhale, bringing the navel to the spine, chant Namaha. On that last sound, you want to allow the navel to really hug your spine. And we'll repeat that 2 more times. Inhale fully. Namaha. One more time. Namaha. We've given now the body a chance to soften the hips to the floor. So we'll go into the twist, bringing now your opposite elbow to the knee. So left hand around your right knee, right hand comes back behind you. If you're in the opposite direction, no worries. Go ahead and do the exact opposite of what I'm asking you to do. Use your back hand to lengthen the torso as you inhale. And then as you start your exhale, we will chant Namaha. When you feel you've finished your exhale, pause at that point. Inhale, lengthen again the spine, reaching crown upwards. And then as you exhale, if it's comfortable to twist deeper with the chanting, do that. Otherwise, just soften right where you are. Namaha. One more time. I will not chant loud so that you can chant at your pace, allowing the breath to stay completely smooth and unstrained. And then the next inhale, lengthen the torso and gently unwind the spine coming to the front, and then release the legs. Extend both legs straight out in front of you. Shake it out. Good. And we'll repeat this process on the other side. So bending again, both legs slightly at the knee. Go ahead and bring now the right knee forward, or the other knee if you went the other way first. The heel comes to the outside of the opposite hip. And then the front or the top leg can move whichever space it feels most comfortable staying. The idea is to let that hip settle to the floor on that front hip. In this case, for me, it's the left. So I'm going to allow the left big toes and the heel to settle to the floor. Allow the left sit bone to settle to the floor as well. Relax the shoulders. And we'll stay here with the chant for three times, which means 3 full breaths. Each exhale as you chant, allow the navel to gently come in toward the spine. It isn't a forceful move, so you have the ability to hear that sound escaping through the nostrils without strain or effort. I will chant only the first time. We are not in the twist yet. We are just allowing the body to settle in this space, torso still facing forward. Namaha. Repeating with your breath at your pace for the next 2 times. I will stay quiet, chanting internally. This gives you the ability to move with your sound without being forced to extend or shorten it with my breath. And then when you feel like you are done, we're going to wrap the opposite elbow around that knee and then bring the other hand back behind you. Lengthen as you inhale the torso. And then again, we're going to chant 3 times Namaha as you move into the twist, engaging the navel toward your spine. Once again, I will chant for the first exhale. So inhale, lengthen. Namaha. And from here, you determine if you want to deepen the twist or you just want to stay here and soften with each of the next 2 breaths. Move with your breath at your pace. Chant out loud. I will do so internally and quiet, giving you the ability to move with your breath at your pace. But keeping in mind that your navel softly firms the lower abdominal muscles as it moves in toward the spine, protecting the lower back, and yet giving you the softness you need to move into this twist. And then when you finish the 3 chants, inhale, lengthen the torso, and as you exhale, unwind. Good. Release both legs straight out in front of you. Good, and then shake them out. One more time. Good. If you're using the blocks underneath you, continue to stay there as we go into the next posture, which is going to be the butterfly. So bring the bottom of your feet together as you bend the knees, allowing the knees to fall toward the floor. If you need support under your knees, and if you have a blanket or a pillow close by, feel free to bring them underneath your knees. But with that lift of the hips as you sit on the blocks, it might be a little bit easier to let that knee on each side settle toward the floor. But we'll stay here for 2 more breaths, letting the shoulders soften. Breath moves at its own pace. You can change the breath if you would like to Ujjayi breath, which is just a very gentle constriction at the back of the nose and throat as you breathe in and breathe out. It is soft, not a very loud, audible breath. But if you were to make it loud breath, it will sound like a snore on its way in and out. There is no effort, no plugging or straining of the ears or the back of the throat as the breath moves in and out. One more full breath in Ujjayi. For those of you that feel like this is really simple with the opening of the inner thigh, you have 2 options. One is to widen your legs a little bit further out and allow once again the knees to settle down, keeping your breath effortless. The other option, of course, if you want to deepen it, would be to keep the feet together and then move slowly on the exhale into a gentle forward folding action, going as far or as little as your body allows you. Your elbows, if you'd like, can come out to the outside of your, toward your knees, or you can even bring the hands in front of you with the elbows down to the floor. If you prefer not to go through either of these 2 moves, just allow your breath to continue in Ujjayi and stay upright relaxing and softening with each exhale. Navel still gently keeps the lower abdominal muscles firm on each of the exhales. If you are in a forward fold, go ahead and next inhale, lengthen the spine, keeping that gentle length and in the spine and engagement of the core. Come back upright. If you have your feet wide, go ahead and bring the feet back in. And then let's all bring the hands underneath the knees, gently lift the knees up and toward each other, and then slowly extend the legs all the way down, shaking them out. Good. And we're going to go ahead and do one more move over here. So let's bring the right leg all the way out, as far out as you can to the side, so that you have the ability to still keep the spine long without letting that be a collapse in the lower spine. And yes, you can do this move even with the blocks underneath you. And then allow the other leg to bend. The heel comes in toward the groin. So now you have the torso still facing forward and the leg is extended out. Inhale fully at the center, and as you exhale, turn the torso toward the extended leg. So your one arm will go to the back and the other arm will go to the front. You're going to use your back arm to keep that length in the torso, helping you with the twist. And then as you start your exhale, navel hugs the spine, we'll chant Namaha as we come slightly forward into a forward fold toward that extended leg. So inhale fully. Namaha. Stay right here. Inhale, lengthen the torso. And chant again. Namaha. Now work with your body. If you have to keep a softness in your knees, go ahead and keep that bend in the knee. If you have to bring a block or a blanket roll under the knee, that works too. We'll stay here for another 2 breaths, just allowing the navel to hug the spine, softening in this space on the exhale. And then next inhale, lengthen the torso. Use your back arm to really press into the floor, giving you that the ability to lengthen the spine. And then as you inhale again, lift and lengthen the torso, coming back upright. And as you exhale, unwind. Good. Bring the hand under the extended leg, bend the knee a little bit. And then when you're ready, go ahead and bend that leg all the way in. Take a moment to come to the center. Comfortably seated, nice long spine. Close your eyes and feel the difference on one side versus the other. Notice how the breath falls on the inhale on one side of the lung versus the other. Good. And then slowly, as you open your eyes, extend slightly the front leg out, and then extend the other leg all the way out, as far out as you can get it to go. Once that leg is as far extended, go ahead and bring the heel of the leg in close to the groin. Beautiful. Inhale, lengthen the torso. And as you exhale, twist over toward that extended leg. And we'll chant 3 times here as well. So inhale, lengthen the torso. As you start, exhale. Namaha. Continue to use your breath, staying right where you are, chanting one more time. Going further forward, if it feels right, if not, softening in the space. Once again, stay here. And for the last sound of Namaha this time in this posture, inhale fully. Continue to bring the navel toward the spine as you chant. And then pause for 2 full breaths, just in this gentle forward folding action. Notice the spaces that are held tight, your groin, your shoulders, your neck. And then next, inhale, lengthen the torso. Keep a soft engagement of the navel. With that length in the spine and the engagement of the navel, start to come up till 3/4 of the breath is in. For that final fourth, release the navel, fill the lungs, and then as you exhale, slowly unwind. Good. Bring the hand under the knee, bend the knee a little bit, and then bring that leg, bending it all the way forward into a gentle cross-legged posture. Good. So we're going to end our practice today in this seated posture. Unless you feel like you want to go down and lie down flat on your backs, that's an option as well. But if you feel comfortable in this seated posture, go ahead and allow your hands to come on your knees, palms up or down. If you have to move from the floor to a chair or your bed, whichever feels right, that is an option as well. If you're comfortable stretching out on the floor, that is fine as well, moving into Shavasana for this next few breaths. We will use Nyasa, which is just a placement, in this case of the fingers. So we'll start with the index finger at the base of your thumb. And then slowly as you inhale, you're going to slide the index out and up toward the tip of your thumb. And then as you exhale, you're going to allow the index finger to come back to the base of your thumb. And then we'll use the thumb for the rest of the fingers. So bring the thumb at the base of your finger. We'll start with the index, inhale and reach it up to the tip. And then as you exhale, allow it to come back down. And then we'll continue the same manner. We will do 10 full breaths. You have a choice to either do one hand and then the other, or do both hands twice. Completely your choice. We'll go ahead and keep the eyes closed so that you can keep the awareness only upon the breath and the gentle movement of the fingers. So we'll start after the next full breath has moved through. So take a nice, gentle, soft breath in and out. And when you're ready, inhale slowly, sliding the finger, index up the thumb. And then as you exhale, back down. Good. And continue at your pace with your breath. Allow your breath to soften the shoulders, the neck, the facial features, the hips, the legs. Feeling the support on the floor. Feeling the softness on the exhale. when you finish the 10 breaths, go ahead and allow at least a couple more breaths to just gently flow in and out. Relaxing your palms upon your thighs. If you are in Shavasana and with the legs extended, this would be a good time to gently start to come up. Bending the knees and then rolling over to one side before you come to a comfortable seated posture. On the next inhale, bring your palms together in prayer to the heart center. Take a nice full breath here. And then on the exhale, gently bow the head, allowing the chin to come down to the collarbone and pausing in this moment, honoring yourself, the practice you undertook. Noticing how your breath has changed, how your body has warmed, and how your mind has calmed itself. So as you get ready to move into the rest of the day, take the time as often as you possibly can, or once every other hour, to bring your awareness to the breath for 1 minute, following the breath in and out. Noticing how it allows the mind to calm down, giving you the ability to have a little bit more centered and focused feel. When you feel ready, you can open your eyes and lift your gaze. Thank you. Namaste.